Hello friends, Kectil welcomes you today. It's YouTube channel, and as always, Alexandra Fomin, the creator of this channel, is with you today. Today we will have a very interesting topic of conversation because our guest today is Dr. Favour, is an authentic leader from Nigeria, a person helping hundreds of young people develop their careers and opportunities. My colleague from Kectil. So glad to welcome Dr. Favour. Good to see you today. Thank you for your time. And before starting our interview, I would like to ask you to also introduce yourself. Otherwise, I definitely didn't know have time to list all your achievements. So could you please?
All right. Thank you so much, Alexandra. So my name is Dr. Favour Ikhile. I'm a dentist and also a social entrepreneur. I am also a U.S. exchange alumnus. I was trained by the 42nd and 45th President of the United States through their program. And also I won the U.S. Consulate Grant in 2020. So I founded an organization called GELA, Global Entrepreneurs and Leaders Academy, where we help to identify, train and certify young people who are aged between, 18 to 35 years on soft skill, knowledge, leadership to empowerment, and also access to foreign mentorship and some skills like design thinking. So far for me, it's been a challenge to put myself, on the spotlight and trying to exert my energy on personal development and see the results over time. I feel so inspired, being affiliated with programs like the Kectil Program, and I have so much respect for the Kectil Program. I feel so excited to share my experience today. Thank you.
Wow, that's really amazing. You have so many achievements, and I had a logical questions of that. Where do you find time for everything? What is the secret of your time management? Could you please share?
Okay, so for me, I consider time management a very important skill. It's a very important soft skill actually, and I train people on soft skill development. And one thing I realize is that if I'm able to prioritize my time, if I'm able to, identify, schedule my time before time, like I don't make events to just take me unaware. I plan weekly before the week arrives. For example, if I'm entering the week tomorrow, I am already certain about everything I'm going to do about that week before I enter. So I know people believe in daily plans, but I strongly believe much more in weekly plans because sometimes you may not be able to achieve your daily goals, and you're able to make up for the previous time that you lost. So that's one strategy. Then also I manage my time by always delegating tasks. I work with a lot of mentees. Through my organization, I've been able to impact a lot of lives. So a lot of people that I've helped over the years are willing to help me. So I try to delegate tasks and trust them that they're able to handle those responsibilities. Because the problem with leaders is sometimes you believe that people will not be able to do something you delegate to them as effective as you should. And then you burn out because you are doing everything yourself. So I think sometimes you need to also have confidence in your mentees. So I delegate tasks, to people. And it's one of the things I tell some of the people that I work with, other social entrepreneurs. Sometimes you need to raise mentees who are as knowledgeable as yourself and also be confident in their abilities. So those are the two things I do for time management. And the third thing I do also is I try to use some apps like Google Calendar. Sometimes it has a way of giving you an alert or something that, you have an event in 30 minutes time or something. So it reminds me exactly prior to that event that I have. So these are some things I do. Beyond always writing down some tasks, for the day. But I said I don't give up on even if I miss the plan for the previous day, I have the weekly agenda, always before me. And before the end of the week, I should be able to complete everything I wrote down for that week. So that's it for me.
Wow, that's really amazing to hear. It's really incredible and smart approach. I also use my weekly plan, and sometimes I have quite a lot of unexpected situation. So I have some situation when I couldn't close my previous task for the week, but I know it's my mistake, and I know where I need still to learn and to grow. And also, I guess in the near future, I will ask you how to correctly delegate the tasks because right now I have some a bit problems with that, I guess. So we'll talk about that later. So
All right.
I think it would be interesting for our viewers also to hear about your way to the Kectil program in more details. How did you get into the program? What was the most challenging thing for you in that way?
Okay, so I got into the Kectil program as far back as 2019. I was in medical school, so I learned of someone who applied for the program and got selected. So I took the challenge to, also apply for that program, and I was lucky. Actually, let me just say something. The day I applied for the program, it was the deadline of application. It was supposed to end 11:59 p.m. So I submitted by 11:57. and and then the interesting thing was the next morning I was a medical student. The next morning I had a test, you know, by 8 a.m. in medical school. And we don't joke with tests in medical school, but I knew this opportunity was something that I really loved. So I had to pay the price to make sure the KXT application is so lengthy. I wrote everything that night and submitted it before the deadline. And something happened. I was so shocked during the selection period. I'd also shared I'd also shared the application link with some friends. Some of these friends got selected for the program, and then my selection mail was not forthcoming. I was worried because I knew I submitted something, that I felt I should be selected for. So what I did was I I took a decision that I've never done before. I actually um sent a mail to Kectil. I said, man, I deserve this opportunity. I got selected I believe I got selected for this opportunity. Please, you know, you might need to, review or something. So in less than 5 minutes, I got a selection mail.
Wow.
Like I never knew how it happened. I don't know. I can't explain. But the summary was that I got selected, and that year, with the passion I put in for that program, I came out exceptionally well. And among the leaders who were selected for that program that year, I came up with a superior performance. And I was selected for the conference next year, but I could not go due to COVID-19 lockdown. So I was persistent. I was sending mails to Kectil every year. Please don't forget me. Please don't forget me. Please don't forget me. You promised, this is a leadership organization. I believe so much in leadership, and I know you have trained me on leadership. Please, in the mail it was stated, that it's you're going to be defining the conference, till further notice. So I was waiting for the notice. So I was lucky in 2023. I was just come back from work, and I decided to send another reminder. And I was lucky to just get a mail. Congratulations, you are going to participate in this year's conference. And that's how I got to Atlanta.
Wow.
That's
That's
persistence.
amazing. That's
That's
really
persistence.
incredible.
You have to just, you know, not just allow things to just go by and just feel like this opportunity they just, you have to fight for some things. That's the lesson I learned from that experience. So Kectil, got get into Kectil network. Actually, let me just highlight some things that I got from the experience. I was able to meet new friends. Some of the people who are working with me in my organization today, even far back as 2020, at my admin desk were Kectil people I met online. We've never met before. Like we connected online, and they work as admin members. Some of them are my organization's International Council of Mentors. We've never met before. And then I was privileged to go to Atlanta and um, able to network with young leaders, people like Alexandra, people like Kuguni, people like Vicky, the likes of these great leaders, John, and all of them. And I was surprised that they were also interested in joining, as mentors. So what I feel is that it Kectil helped me to be able to build a network of leaders, that could help me in my organization. And also I was able to access funding through Kectil because I was able to travel fully funded for the conference in Atlanta, which I think is a rare opportunity. So thank you so much for this question. I feel so excited to share more, but due to time limit, I might need to stop here.
Oh wow, that's really amazing story. I didn't even expect to hear such, but I believe that you did really correct actions to getting what you really want in what you believe that helps you to scale your own organization, to get more people involved, like me, to mentoring young people from other countries, not only from your country. So, as I
Yeah.
know, you also have Global Entrepreneurs and Leaders Academy where we work together already. So could you please tell us also about the way how you started it, what there was main idea for the GELA, how everything went, and how did you decide to open it, and how is going everything today as well?
Okay, nice question. Okay, so during the lockdown, I had, or prior to the lockdown, I had tried to experiment what mentorship would look like, having seen the positive effect of mentorship in my life. I found out that one of the basic ingredients for success for youth, for young people, is not just giving them knowledge. What they need is knowledge, the right community, and mentorship. These three ingredients is so important. You can give them knowledge, the right community, I mean peer groups, and then access to mentorship. Then if you can go further to maybe add funding. So this is a major challenge that people, in Africa or in another part of the world actually battle with. So for me, proud to proud to the lockdown, I had been thinking of what I could do to help young people like myself who are disadvantaged to gain access to mentorship. So I started with maybe creating a WhatsApp group, actually creating a WhatsApp group, trying to mentor people myself. I was able to mentor a few people as a then. I saw that these people, they became proficient in some things, and some of them became volunteers in my organization. Then I thought of it like, why can't I, if I could do this and get this result, what if um I multiply myself? Like I just try to talk with other persons who could do the same thing. And then I created a WhatsApp group on related with some mentors who I felt they could be able to join. And surprisingly, they were interested. And gradually, from a WhatsApp group, we moved to a Facebook platform, a Facebook platform. And after the Facebook platform, like, I felt, well, maybe we could develop a website. And then I talked to the developer. Our first website, I mean, that website has crashed currently, but that was the first website we built. We built the first website and we're able to mentor people on that platform. There were a lot of mistakes, there were a lot of lessons we learned. And then we built a better platform, which we currently are using. We actually built three platforms. The second one also was hacked by some fraudsters, but we were persistent and we built a third platform again. So that's like failing, three times. And on the third trial, you made success. So this third website we are using, we currently train people on mentorship. We train them on soft skill knowledge. They gain access to global civilization courses remotely from their rooms. So during the lockdown, back to what I wanted to say, during the lockdown, my eyes got open to the reality of of remote mentorship, of remote learning. Everybody were, in their various locations. In my country, the university students were on strike. So people were just public university students, I mean, people were just at home, nothing was happening. So I thought about it. What could I do? So that was the biggest time opportunity for me to develop something. And luckily that year I won a grant from the U.S Embassy in my country, and I was able to use that grant because I shared the idea on what I want to do. I was able to use that grant to build the second website which we had, and that funding really helped. So moving on from there, we you know started expanding the network from a WhatsApp group to a website. From website, we started increasing the region from Nigeria. We tried West Africa. From West Africa, we tried Africa. And then this year, I went for the conference, two conferences in the US, and my knowledge about global perspective changed. And I was able to network with certain people who were very strategic to improving my understanding. I met with one of the leaders in the Barack Obama's network at the GES conference, I mean, Barack Obama's foundation, and also some mentors. And then we were able to expand our organization using that knowledge into a global network. So currently, people apply for our program from over 30 countries, and these people are mentees in the program as we speak. So thank you so much. I feel like GELA platform was just, it started as trying out something, just ensuring you try out every little step, every little thing you know. And I want to end by saying this. You know, nobody's perfect. One of the things I think social entrepreneurs should do is don't just acquire knowledge. Any little knowledge you have, put it to practice. Be happy when you fail, but learn lessons from every experience. Because this age, as a young person, this is the best time to try out things. There are times when your errors will not be forgiven. So this is the best time to try out things and know the best market that is suitable for your product, and then expand in your 30s and your 40s. So thank you so much for this question. I feel
Oh,
excited.
I
Yeah.
was just, you inspired me, you motivated me of your stories. It was really amazing what you're doing. That's really impactful for
Thank you.
other young people because I had chance to work with three beautiful, smart, and really amazing young people inside GELA as a mentor. So you doing really good work for them. This organization helped them just to believe on them, to help them build their career and doing what they want to do, what they want to achieve, what they want to bring for their communities, for their countries, because
Yeah.
with two of my mentees, we already raised the business model Canva and built everything what they need for applying to different grants and different opportunities. We just, built it a platform from what they can start doing something for their communities, for theirs, for themselves, and for their future. So, awesome. Before preparing to our interview to research information about you more deeply in the LinkedIn and other platform, I saw that you have a lot of certificates from different international organizations. That's amazing. That's really huge achievement. And I have another question related to that. Could you please share us the secret of what motivated you to achieve such success that you have right now, and what motivates you today continue doing everything?
Okay. Thank you so much. So my motivation story. Anytime, I think this is one of the things that I think young people applying for opportunities, even grant opportunities, will always have to submit written opportunities and even videos, because nobody will invite you for a grant to get a grant except they see how passionate your story is. Okay, so actually for me, I understood, I began to understand that the only way to be consistent about the goal I'm pursuing is to actually identify my pain point. And identify my pain point, I have to be vulnerable. I have to tell myself the truth that this story, which I may choose to keep personal and act as though, everything is awesome, I'm that good, cool guy, a dentist, enjoying and everything. This story is what will sell. This painful part, which is what will sell, is what will sell the idea. So for me, I understood, I came up from a socio-economically disadvantaged background, and um a lot of challenges I faced, while coming up as a young entrepreneur, and even in school. I realized that the disadvantages I had were not just peculiar with me. These disadvantages were related to access to higher education. At some point, my dad even lost his job, trying to fund my education. And in order, I realized that I had to exert myself, involve myself in some things like applying for scholarships, looking for opportunities, like even doing business as a student. So trying out all these things just as a means to survive made me to land, some opportunities. Because if I relaxed at my comfort zone, I definitely would have dropped out of school. And not just that, I probably would have not, discovered GELA. And then just trying to push that, just put that little effort made me to realize that I could be what I am today. So in GELA, at my fourth year in medical school, there was something that I discovered. A lot of young people who were disadvantaged, most of them, they will finish from school at sometimes they get very good results, but most of them after finishing, they don't get placement, they don't get employed. And I was worried because it affected not just those persons are my friends, it affected some relatives, even some of my siblings. I mean, I was worried. I felt, what could I do to help these young people, to get access to job opportunities? And then I started interviewing them. I found out that most of them lack access to soft skills. And these skills, they were not taught in the university. And it's not their fault. The soft skills, what they teach them in the university most times are hard skill, how to become, efficient, as an engineer, how to become efficient as a doctor. Nobody teaches you um soft skills in school like that. I mean, I'm talking about the schools in West Africa and Africa, largely most of them. So I discovered that this is an area that most of the employers are actually looking for people. They need people who are efficient in these areas. So I began to train myself on this soft skill. I traveled to conferences. Some of these conferences, I would save money, save my stipends, save the money I'm supposed to use to eat, to travel for a conference. I remember going for a conference in school, and then knowing that my test or my test and some of my exams were very close, taking the risk. Sometimes I would just call my parents and tell them I'm no longer in school. My mom will shout, "Wow, where are you?" Because I know if I tell her I'm going to that conference, she will say she does not have budget for it and don't go. So, mommy, I'm already there. It's too late. They come back. I'm already there. I'm at the conference. It's very inspiring. I'm learning this. I'm learning this. I'm learning this. And from this experience, that was how I developed the organization and developed the name even for the organization, Global Entrepreneurs and Leaders Academy, because I began to see from a global perspective gradually. Actually, at one of those events, that was where I, met some very important figures that became personal mentors to me, because I did not know anybody. I did not have connection. I did not know, I don't have affiliation with the UN. I don't have affiliation with, where would someone like me get those connections? This should be people who are maybe highly placed, people who are very rich, but paying the price, gathering money to go for this conference. I told myself I must network with the guest speakers. There was one of the events. At the end of the event, I was pursuing, I'm telling you, I was pursuing the United Nations Director of Information. With the security, he saw somebody, a young boy, pursuing his car, and he told the security officers to tell the car to stop. And he stopped, and I introduced myself. I already learned elevator pitch. I said, "My name is Dr. Favor." I was not the doctor. My name is Favour Ikhile. I'm from this. I'm just a student in my fourth year in school. I took the risk to come for this conference from this far location, but sir, I'll be very glad to connect with you because I'm building an idea which I think you will be able to, mentor me in. And he just stretched forth his hand and gave me a complimentary card. And that card, I kept that card. I connected with him after the conference. One thing I think young people do is to need to have is persistence, because some of these important people, they will not respond to you. After sending the message, he did not respond. I kept on sending for over 2 years. I was persistent for over 2 years. You heard Mama Sherry talk about consistency. She
Mm-hmm.
observed that when I was sending mails with her. I mean, this is something I always do with mentors I connected. And after a while, I was able, just cut the long story short, I was able to organize in 2021. I was able to organize a first virtual hangout, a first visual dialogue, sorry, with the United Nations. I had it for young people, then I invited the United Nations, and they were able to guide me on how I was able to partner with them. And as I'm talking with you, this year we were able to host an international conference with the UN in Nigeria. Can you imagine how connecting someone who has no connection as a bloody as a young
Yeah.
innocent undergraduate, now connected with the United Nations and in partnership with the United Nations. You can imagine. So it takes sacrifice. You need to leave your comfort zone. You need to actually exact yourself. You need to connect with people intentionally. So in those programs, I vowed actually, I am going to connect with guest speakers. And that was how I was able to connect with most of them. The conference I had in Ghana last year in 2022, I actually hold conferences every year. Conference in 2022 was actually sponsored by one of the Model UN guest speakers I met in Ghana. I traveled to Ghana for the first time, gathered my money, saved the money, and learned how to fundraise. Fundraising is a
Mm-hmm.
soft skill again. I learned how to fundraise. Some of my lecturers, I learned how to fundraise from them, and they were able to support me for that conference. I went to the conference in Ghana by flight, to and fro. It was not a fully funded conference. It was self-funded, but I still exerted myself to go for that conference. And guess what? One of the guest speakers in that conference ended up becoming one of the sponsors of my conference in 2022. He was a major sponsor. He just told me after writing to him, don't worry, I am going to be the major sponsor for that conference. And that's how the conference was successful in Ghana. So what am I trying to say? The journey has been taking risk. I wouldn't leaving your comfort zone. Another example I would like to share again is at final year, I got a Western Union scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
$2,500. You know, that's
So thank you very much, Favor, Dr. Favor, for your answer. And also, I have another question related to motivation and all of your strengths and soft skills as well. Could you please tell us about challenges you faced during your career journey? And also, could you please tell us what were the top three key lessons you learned in your professional life?
okay. Great question. What were the challenges I faced, and then some key lessons, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So for me as a young change maker coming up, one of the challenge I faced coming from a um economically disadvantaged background, and also coming from a country in in um in Africa, is the fact that we have we don't have access to some opportunities that can actually nurse the ideas that some young people from these regions are having. We don't have access to some support programs. When I was privileged to go to the US, I saw a lot of things. I saw a young person who was already a founder of a big organization, um, already raising over $500,000, and this person was less than, I think, was 17 years. And there were many of them when I went for that conference, Global Engagement Summit, and then I realized that even the Kectil program, a lot of young people, exceptional people doing greatly in their various countries. So one of the challenge for me was um, access to opportunities, access to, you know, to just get a network of people who could support me. So one of the things I did, the step when I mentioned the challenge, I will mention the step I took. So one of the step I took was to leave my comfort zone. The decision to not, I just told myself I can't end here. So I have to apply for global opportunities. I looked for platforms like Opportunity Desk where I could go see exchange program outside the country, exchange program in the various parts of the world, and started applying for them. So that was the first challenge, and that was the step I took. And I was lucky that they selected me for some of them, like programs like Kectil, GS, and many others. Then another challenge I faced was, I think other young people also faces, is the fact that when you start your idea, people initially may not understand, they may not understand how to actually support you, how to join you. So you have to be someone that is very, very tenacious, someone that is persistent. You imagine holding a conference, and your friends you eat with them, you play with them every time, but you expect them to come and sit with you in your conference, right?
Right.
But then they tell you they have books to read, they have something to do, and then you are the one organizing that conference alone with other strangers that don't know you. So you need to be able to battle with that. You need to be able to recognize that not everybody will support you at that initial time, and it doesn't make them enemies. Don't be quick to tag everybody enemies just because they don't come for your program. Don't because just because they don't support you, they don't give their money, to contribute to your programs. So I try to make sure I don't tag people as enemies. But the truth is this: the same people who never came in that time, these are people who write to me frequently now that they want to partner, they want to collaborate, they like what you're people. I like what you're doing, I want to be part of what you're doing, and those kind of things. So you need to get to a particular threshold, and then people will start seeing that this thing you are doing makes sense and they want to support you. Then another challenge I faced was the issue of you know access to access to the market. The idea I was doing, I knew at some point that it would work. When I tested it in the little environment, in the environment I was, people liked the idea. People saw the importance of mentorship. They saw the importance of these skills. I even went to interview some employers, and I saw that these people, they were ready to even employ people that I trained. They were ready to say, okay, once I finish training them, if they can interview them and they have the skills, they were ready to take them. But then I realized that I needed capacity to do this thing on a large scale. Okay, so that's a challenge I think you battle somebody will actually try to handle accessing the market. And one of the things I did was when I went to conferences like the GES, like the Global
Mm-hmm.
Engagement Summit, like the Kectil programs, I was strategic about the kind of questions I was asking,
Mm-hmm.
especially questions I asked the mentors, especially the questions I asked the people that are partners and all those people. And the truth is, these people, they were able to link me up with some things that they knew, share their ideas on some things. And that was, and also some of one of the mentors I met before now, I never knew how to leverage on the wealth of, I mean, the wealth and the resources of mentors. I
Mm-hmm.
learned this, I got this knowledge from these programs. Sometimes when they read the citation of some guest speakers, when they read citation of some mentors, you see some people doing other things. They are not paying attention. I discovered that just paying attention to the citation of a resource person can help you to see a potential sponsor, can help you to see a potential, someone that can even help you publicize your program, someone that is a member of a board somewhere, someone that has an organization that has media coverage in over 20 countries, and just one instruction, your program is on those platforms. And when I came from that program, I just looked around my network and I realized that, wow, so I had this person here, I had this person here. This other person could help me. My eyes were open. And in less than 2 months from my arrival from the US, my program was global. We're already on a platform the platform has coverage of close to 200 countries. You know, this is
Mm-hmm.
what the power of not just attending program. I mean, strategically attending program, but asking yourself questions. It's just like doing a PhD, for example. Before you are selected for the PhD, they will ask you, what are your research questions? They have a reason for asking those questions. What's your research topic? Do you understand? Before they select you. So people go for programs without a research topic. They just go for programs and, just want to enjoy travel experience. At least I've traveled. You can have several stamps on your passport and you're not building something. I'm telling you. So that's the challenge, and those are the things I've done. And then to answer the other part, which talks about what now? The lessons, right?
Yeah, top three lessons that you would
Yes,
like to share that you learned.
I like to say. The first lesson I would say is when you are growing your idea, do not underestimate the power of networking. Do
Yeah,
not
that's true.
underestimate the power of networking. A lot of people you see, no, somebody said something, said your first 10 contacts could determine where you will spend the next 10 years of your life. and it's the truth. If you have powerful people in your contact, you definitely will not suffer in life, you know, and you can only meet powerful people at powerful places. You don't
Mhm.
see them, in cheap places. I had to pay for a conference that was not fully funded, traveled from traveled, paid flight for a conference that was not fully funded. But yet you see people who, if it's not fully funded, they are not applying. Everybody just wants something that they won't
Yeah,
pay a
fully
dime.
fun.
And then you launch a program and you said there's a registration fee. They just say, why is it not free? Everybody expects it to be free. And you don't know that some of these things, there is something you are going to get access to certain things that you will never get if you stayed in your comfort zone. So I would say do not underestimate the power of networking. The conference I traveled in medical school, I went to Lagos. My roommate in that conference, I'm a Christian, but he's a Muslim. But I understood the power of networking cut across religious barriers. And guess what? All through the night in that conference, we were discussing. You'll be wondering what we were discussing. We had common grounds to discuss. And I discovered he went to a conference the previous year, and I had not gone for that conference in Ghana. And I'm like, wow, can I also apply for this conference? Say, yes, why not? And we checked, the conference application was on. I say, my God, I'm following you. We're sitting together throughout this conference. Anyway, we start together. We went to do everywhere together. I applied for that conference, and the next year, guess what? I got selected for that conference and won awards in that conference. I won the overall best position paper in the 10th edition of that conference, and the best position paper in my committee that year. All right. So what am I saying? Networking. And don't underestimate people too. Some people look down on others because they don't look like it. Don't underestimate people. Then the second lesson I would say is the power of mentorship. Mentors are a gateway to opportunities. They can just call somebody and a door will just open. They can just recommend you and your life will change. All your
Yeah,
years
that's
of suffering
true.
will change.
That's true.
Mentorship is so powerful. And I could go on and on to talk about mentorship, but because of time. And the third thing I will talk about as regards a recommendation would be um, don't just travel to conferences. Make sure you are building something. This is something one of my mentors told me, all right, during the lockdown. He called us and he was mentoring us during the lockdown. So we're going to his office at the GRA, in Benin then. He said, make sure you are building something. Don't just enjoy the experience. See, let me say something. This thing I'm saying is premium. It's premium. I'm gonna say it here.
This is special only for me and our viewers on the Kectil
Yeah,
YouTube channel.
exactly. So the thing is, when you go for programs, make sure you have something you are building. Like if you have an organization, learn to channel the relationships you are building, the awards you are getting, everything into something. It might be a business, it might be an organization. That is the only way that thing will grow very fast. All right. That's the only way that thing can expand. Channel these things into that thing. Don't just travel and just travel for the experience. Make sure you are channeling this into something. Yeah. So thank you so much. I believe I've shared experience on this area.
That was really amazing. And you mentioned really true things and really necessary things for young leaders to know, because previous video that I published on YouTube, it was about power of networking. That's really powerful
Yeah,
thing.
I like
A
that.
second lesson that you mentioned, last week I found my mentor. I found a mentor for myself because right now I'm working on building my own business. I would like to raise some investments for that. So that's really true. But at the same time, I'm working as a mentor. I'm working as a business mentor. But all business mentors, they also need business mentors for themselves if they want to build something really big and powerful. So thank you everyone for being today with us. I hope that everybody learned something for your future, for your career, for yourself. And in the conclusion of this interview, we always we have our small tradition sharing some wishes to you today. So please Do not afraid doing what you want in what you believe. Do not afraid ask for help, scale your networking, asking for mentoring you, and go out of your comfort zone. Thank you very much to being today with you. Thank you, Dr. Favor, for your time and really inspiring interview, even due to some technical issue that we had today. We really did it very well. And I remind our viewer that it is important for us to see your support and activity on the channel. So do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our Kectil channel.